Hi everyone, welcome to Solved Pages YouTube channel. Today we're going to see database backup part 2. In the previous video we have seen our database backups part 1. If you don't see this, please go and watch the part 1. In that I have explained these three backups: full backup, differential and log backups. In the second part you'll see this remaining backups. First one, copy only backup. So copy only backup is also same as full backup itself, but the difference is if there are some automatic backups are happening, if you go and take a full backup, it will break the LSN chain. So for every backup there is a log sequence number. If you take a full backup, an LSN chain will break, that leads to this backup failures. So that's why we need copy only backup. So if you take a copy only backup, that doesn't break LSN chain, so it doesn't disturb automatic backups. So if you receive any request to take a backup, first go and check if any backups are running in the jobs. See, there are some daily backups are happening, and also check maintenance plans. If any ongoing automatic backups are there, don't take full backup, that can break the LSN chain and all the automatic backups will fail. So in that case you can take copy only backup. So you take the backup without breaking the LSN chain or without breaking this automatic backups. So that is copy only backup. How to take a copy only backup? Take this RDBMS database to the tasks, backup. See here, just click on this copy only backup option. So this is one how you take this in a GUI. If you want to take this using script, then backup database name, backup database name to disk is equal to path. Where you want to put the database backups, you have to give that path. The path always should be in a single quotes, and the backup file name I'm giving as rdbms underscore copy only dot bak with copy underscore only. So this is a script to take a copy only backup. See, so this is copy only backup. The extension should be .bak itself. Next one, split backup. See, if you have a database around 100 GB or 200 GB, you don't have enough free space to store that backup, then what you can do is you can split that backup into different parts. Imagine the backup size is 200 GB. You don't have enough free space on the same disk, but you have 100 GB in one disk and 100 GB in another disk. What you can do is you can split that backup into two parts, 100 GB, 100 GB. So first 100 GB you can put it in a first drive, and the second 100 GB you can put it on a second drive. That you can do. How you can do it is, take this one, tasks, backup, add first path. I want to give in this backup folder rdbms underscore part 1. I'm just giving as part 1 dot bak, and another, I'm just taking two splits here. I'm selecting other folder. I have only one drive, that's why I'm creating splits in two different folders. Okay. rdbms underscore part 2 dot bak. Okay, you can click on OK. If you want to do it using the script, backup database name to disk is equal to path. So this is the path and the file name rdbms underscore part1 dot bak comma disk is equal to second path, where you want to put the second split in backups 2. So you have to get this path, and the name should be rdbms underscore part2 dot bak. So how many splits you want to give? You can give that many paths. So 2 splits I have given. See, this is part 1, part 2. So I have taken copy only backup, that is a full backup. It is around 7 MB. So if I take split backup, it is 4 MB. Part 1 it is a 4 MB, part 2 it is around 4 MB. So the full backup split into 2 parts. So if you don't have enough free space, then we can use this split backup. So whenever we want to restore the data, any one of the whenever we want to restore, we need these 2 backups. You have to add these 2 backups and we have to restore it. Okay. Next one, mirror backup. If you want to create a duplicate backups, we can use mirror backup. Why means if we can create multiple duplicate files, we can store it in different drives. If any one of the drive is corrupted, we will lose this backup, right? So that's why using mirror backup we can create duplicate backups and we can store it in different location. So for mirror backup, we don't have this GUI process. We have to do it using script itself. That is backup database name rdbms to disk is equal to path. And the name I'm giving is rdbms underscore mirror1 dot bak, and mirror to disk is equal to path. I'm giving the same path rdbms underscore yam2 dot bak with format. So by default behavior is with no format. If you want to create duplicate copies, we have to give with format. And whenever you're giving multiple paths, you have to give the comma between the paths. But for mirror backup, you don't have to give the comma. If you give the comma, it will throw an error. See, there is an error, right? So that's why we don't have to put the comma between the paths, and we have to add with format because we are creating duplicate copies. See here, I have 2 backup files with same size, M1 and M2. If you want to create duplicate copies, then the mirror backup is useful. And the next one, tail log backup. See, tail log backup is also same as log backup. It also takes the backup of the data which is present in the log file and flushes the data from log file to data file. But the difference is there are 2 parameters in tail log backup. One is with no recovery. If you use with no recovery, the database will go into the restoring mode. And another one, with the continue after error, with continue after error. So this one we will use whenever the database is in corrupted state. We can take the tail log backup. If the database is in corrupted state, we cannot take any backup except a tail log backup. So if you want to take a tail log backup on corrupted database, then we have to use this with continue after error parameter. Okay, so we see how to take a tail log backup. Backup log database name, to disk is equal to path name I'm giving is rdbms underscore tlog.trn. So for log backup and tlog backup, the extension should be trn with no recovery. So if you give with no recovery, the database will go into restoring mode. See here, if I refresh it, the database will go into restoring mode. If you want to take a backup on a corrupted database, then you have to use this continue after error keyword. Okay, this is a tail log backup. The next one, file backup. So if you see this database, it is in restoring mode, right? We'll do one thing, restore database name with recovery. So database is online now. If we see this, there are different files. We have one data file and another, we have secondary data files as well. See, but I know my data is in this file rdms2. I have the data in this file, but I want to take a backup of particular file, this file rdms2. So instead of taking entire database backup, we can take backup of a single file. That is a file backup. So file backup also we have to do it using a script. Actually, script is backup database name, file is equal to file name. File name, what is this file name? rdms2. rdms2 is my file name, and to disk is equal to path. And the name I'm giving is rdms2.fil. The extension is FIL. So for full backup it is a .bak, for log backup and tail log backup it is .trn. For file backup the extension should be .fil. See this one, see the extension .fil. So this is a file backup. We can also take file group backup here. So for every database we have a default file groups here. Default file group is the primary one. If you want to create a secondary file group, you can create any secondary file group or any other. You can give any name. I'm giving this as a secondary file group. So you can create any number of file groups up to 32,767 file groups we can create. So we can take a backup of particular file group also. See, I'm changing this. I'm adding another secondary data file. I'm naming it as RDMS3, and the file name I'm giving as RDMS_3.ndf, and this data file I'm adding to secondary file group. Okay, so if I want to take a backup of file group that I have added earlier, secondary one, so we have a script for that. Backup database name RDBMS, and file group is equal to file group name. File group name is secondary, right? So disk is equal to path. The name I'm giving is secondary dot FLG. So FLG is the extension for file group backup. It is file group backup. And the final one, we have partial backups. So partial backups are related to file group backups itself. See, if you can see here, if you can go to the file groups, we have read-write file groups and read-only file groups. See, this is a read-only file group. This is a read-write file group. So read-only file group, there are no changes have been made on the read-only file groups. So partial backup means we can take the file groups which are read-write file groups only. We can avoid this read-only file groups, and we can take the backup of only read-write file groups. That is a partial backup. So if you want to take a backup of this read-write file group, we can use this partial backups. The script is backup database name RDBMS, and the file read, we have to give this read-write file groups, read_write_file groups to disk is equal to path I'm giving the name as read_write.bak. So extension for this partial backup is .bak. See here, this one. So if you take partial backup, it ignores the read-only file groups. It only takes the backup of read-write file groups itself, because the changes are happening in this read-write file groups itself. There are no changes happen on the read-only file groups. That's why we don't need that read-only file groups, because there are no changes happen on the read-only file groups. So there is a partial backups. I'm giving this script in the description. You can download from there. Thanks for watching.